Tom Kadien is the Senior Vice President of Consumer Packaging for International Paper's India and Asia Group. I'm curious, in your own words, what does sustainability mean in terms of your role at IP, and or perhaps IP in general, however you prefer to answer that?
Sure. Actually, if you listen to the United Nations, they would tell you that sustainability started with the forest products industry and how we manage our land holdings and sustainably grow trees. So, our biggest input is trees, fiber, and International Paper has a long history of managing millions of acres of trees for over 100 years in a sustainable fashion, so that we not only assure ourselves a long-term fiber source, but also take care of the lands as we would all like them to be taken care of. So it's a very important issue.
And speaking of India and Asia in general, can you tell us a little bit about the big challenges there?
Sure. Sustainability, I'll talk to India for a second. Sustainability is not part of the culture in India or many emerging markets the way it is here in the United States or in other places in the world. Europe is an example. But we've been in India now for about 4 years, so we have to actually teach sustainability, conservation, how to care for the natural resources that we don't own, because you're not allowed to own more than a few acres of land. So we go out into the villages in the area in the state of Andhra Pradesh where we are, and we teach conservation, we teach sustainable forestry, we grow seedlings for folks, and we actually have to facilitate the process. So just last year we planted our 1,000th seedling in India, and it's good for us, it's good for the communities because it's creating a level of income that they weren't able to see, and it really doesn't compete with food crops because the trees that we're planting there are trees that will grow in very sandy soil that wouldn't sustain food crops.
And what is one of the things that you're able to go out there and measure? I mean, do you set out to have certain goals? And
it depends on the geography we're in. Here in North America, certainly, we're all about having more trees at the end of every year than we started, even though we're utilizing a lot of wood fiber. It's all replanted in a sustainable fashion. So our forest base here in the United States has actually grown over the last couple hundred years. When you go to emerging markets, there's a lot of competition for wood fiber, for fuel as an example. So it's really a big educational effort. So to your question, what do we measure? Well, we measure the numbers of seedlings or the amount of forest land that we've planted or our suppliers have planted. We set ourselves goals on certified fiber, and we continually push those up, and we try to encourage and set goals on how many acres or hectares of land that we move and facilitate to move from non-certified to certified fiber, and particularly when you get out of the United States, we really help write the rules on what sustainable forestry is in some of these countries.
Great. And I guess last question, here we are at Fortune Brainstorm Green. We've got a good chunk of the Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies here. Everybody's talking about this thing we call sustainability. What's your thought on corporate leadership in terms of are folks starting to take this kind of stuff seriously, and the CEOs in the room starting to think about sustainability as something a little bit more than window dressing?
Yeah, yes, I think they are taking it more seriously, and I've been impressed, certainly, maybe not surprised, but impressed. The dialogue is much less confrontational, much more collaborative between folks who are demanding that corporations do more and the corporations themselves. It's not confrontational. There's a recognition that there is an element of profit that has to fit in the equation somewhere. And I think for any CEO in our industry or all the other industries that are represented here, this is going to be a big issue on our radar screen for as long as we're in these roles. And in the forest products business, it's been on our radar screen. We've been participating, but it's much more important to our customers than it's ever been. So I think this is a terrific conference. The quality of the leadership here is impressive, and it shows how the issue has moved to the forefront. I have a belief that people got to where they are by being good in the old culture, and the people here, the leaders who are here, are, they may be my age, but they're recognizing what the issues are going to be, for the next 20 or 30 years, and clearly sustainability is at the forefront.
Good to hear. Well, we look forward to your continued leadership.
Okay.
And, thanks very much for your time.
Great. Thanks for doing this.
Excellent.